Thank you folks for being here. We are again happy to connect with you. I hope you have had a pleasant day and you are looking forward to another 45-minute session of the TAL classes. Again, why TAL? Because technology is for all and because all of us need it. Once again, I repeat that we are using this new format where the interaction is through WhatsApp and you should keep your mobile phone switched on and you can put all your queries in the chat whenever you want and we will reply to them. And we do not accept any phone calls from students, and if you get disconnected by any chance, please log in once again to my WhatsApp number 9818951003. So we start today's class like every day with a prayer praising the eternal Guru or the Almighty. Why? Because the Almighty not only gives us everything, but He is our ultimate teacher. So we go back to this recital in His name.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
So in the last class, we talked about the 5G network. We explained to you how the 5G network works and how we came to 5G network. As per networking giant Cisco, 5G's data capacity is 1,000 times that of 4G. That means the 4G network, the amount of data it could carry, the 5G network can carry 1,000 times more. And as a result of this high-speed data transfer, the internet data traffic has exceeded 200 billion GB per month. So that is a huge amount of internet traffic, and so many people, over 5 billion people have been connected through the 5G network. Apart from data speeds, the wide broadband spectrum of 5G network expands the usable frequencies for data transfer. Okay, समझ में नहीं आया? Okay, what I mean to say is that there are certain frequencies in which 4G was operating. Now 5G operates on the higher frequencies. So 5G operates on the higher frequencies and therefore the usable data over there is much more. It's a broadband spectrum and it is much easier for data transfer over there. So the 5G broadband can actually support, I mean really, it can actually support 100 times as many devices as the 4G network. What does it mean? It means that suppose there were 5 million devices which the 4G network, the IoT could support. Now in 5G there are 500 million devices which it can support, about 100 times more than 4G. And because of such high device supporting capability, it makes IoT possible. Now if you have any questions, please ask so that we can explain it further. We can connect to many more devices in 5G and we can get more data at higher speeds and lower cost. It means that what we are doing is, as we are moving to higher speeds and we are using higher frequencies, we can connect to much more devices and we can use the internet much better. So that is the difference between 5G and 4G, and this is what you learn from when your cable operator or when Jio and Airtel or any other network provider tells you that we are giving you 5G. Is it actually 5G? You can check. Because lot of people are selling 4G and branding it as 5G when actually the speeds are not of 5G. That you can check with your Ookla. There is a software which is readily available. You can download it from the internet and you can see the speed. That is it really 5G network you are getting, or is your supplier who is giving you the broadband connection just telling you that he is giving 5G and actually he is not? Because this happens, and this happens in day-to-day operations, in city to city. In various cities there is no 5G operation, but they still say that we are supplying 5G. So you as a consumer must know what is happening, whether you are getting cheated, whether you are paying the fair price, and that is your right, that you must understand the technology and you must be able to see that what you are getting is right and what you are paying is for the product which you should get, which your broadband supplier is selling you. So these things help. You know, technology for all classes are helping in these decision making, in helping you choose the correct broadband supplier, in helping you understand that whether you are actually benefiting or you are just paying the cost of the services and you are not benefiting. We saw in the last class that 5G network will be able to carry more data at a higher speed and connect to more devices at a lower cost. This dual capability makes the Internet of Things possible. What is the dual capability? One is that it can take more devices, it can accommodate more devices and at a lower cost and at a higher speed. So these capabilities make Internet of Things possible. Now we are by now familiar with the Internet. We have gone through the history of the Internet and how it came about. But what is this Internet of Things? How many of you have heard of this Internet of Things? Let me see. Okay, why, no, why. Okay, so most of you people have heard of Internet of Things, but do you know what is the Internet of Things? No. Okay, so now I will explain to you what this Internet of Things is. Because we have been using IoT for quite some time, almost 10 years. Okay, so although we have been using IoT for 10 years, it has been underplayed. You see, just like artificial intelligence, we have not been using too much, but there is lot of hoopla around artificial intelligence because Microsoft has put a lot of funding behind artificial intelligence and education of the people to use AI. But nobody has done that for IoT, therefore IoT remains the poor cousin. So people don't know about IoT, but we have been using, and millions of devices of IoT are already there in our lives. So why should we know the tech if already there are millions of devices in your life? What is the use of understanding this tech? Now I'll tell you why you should know the tech. You should know the tech because you should know how to use it safely, how to use it optimally, and how to use it progressively. As we said last time, lot of people, lot of vendors make a lot of money by selling you products which you don't require those services. At the same time, there are lots of people who don't tell you how to use the services which your gadget provides. There is no consumer education. So we are doing the consumer education. We are telling you what these smart applications actually means and how you can move towards auto prompt generation. And what does it mean? How your lives are already deeply influenced by IoT, but you don't know it. And what does it mean that every year what will happen? Do you know that there are 19 billion IoT connected devices in 2024 worldwide? How much? 19 billion IoT devices. That is more than 2 devices per human. And that IoT devices are growing at 13% annually. So it's a huge growth. Much higher growth than what any country's GDP is. So we are using these IoT devices which are growing so very fast, which are influencing all our lives and our consumer decisions, but we don't know about it. So should you not know about it?
Whether we're aware or not, automation is already really normalized with artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things working together. Today we have smartwatches, cars that are smarter than ever before, voice assistants, smart cars, you name it. We're sure that this technological aspect to life will get even better in no time at all. The perfect illustration of how much progress has been made already can simply be seen by looking around. Wearable tech like the Apple Watch gives us more information about ourselves than ever before. Voice recognition software means we don't have to say, "Hey Siri," all the time. And it gets even better. These technological advancements will bring about a tremendous change in the world and provide us with many benefits. And according to research, AI is already responsible for boosting economy globally through increased productivity within businesses as well as providing new opportunities that we never before thought possible.
Now we are familiar with internet, but the Internet of Things, it is still a new concept to many of us. IoT has been a buzzword in tech circles for a few years, and for good reason, because so many consumer products are linked with IoT. A lot of recent developments and smart applications using the technology are there in our homes, in our jobs, and in our education, in our society, and we are actually deeply influenced by IoT. Now let me give you a few examples. IoT sensors such as motion sensors and surveillance cameras. You have seen those surveillance cameras at every corner which record. They are all IoT, and they continuously monitor the ATMs, the bank branches, the data centers, the street side corners, alerting banks, alerting the civic police and everybody to unusual activity. So if there is a murder, you can understand through these surveillance cameras that who is the person who last entered that place. And if there is a theft in the ATM, of course it is recorded. There is not only one surveillance camera, but there are multiple surveillance cameras. So now you have been using IoT for quite some time. So the question is why you must know the tech. So internet communication grows through computers and through the devices. For 30 years this internet communication has been growing, and the spectrum bandwidth and the data carrying capacity has grown from 1G to 5G. But all this happened with human intervention. What if this happened without human inputs? That is IoT. If smart devices could communicate amongst themselves. Now we will tell you what these smart devices are, how IoT allows you to start, stop, monitor, control and operate all the connected devices, and how this connectivity is done, how your phone controls everything. You can set it to control your geyser, your home lock, anything, and how the Apple Watch monitors your health, habit and activity. The internet helped computers communicate. Now we will tell you what the IoT does. That is the most interesting part. You will learn how IoT has changed your life. Watch this video. Now this is the most important and most interesting part of this chapter. What is the IoT? Now we learned during the Vietnam War there was a problem of communication, and therefore the US Army funded scientists who helped create computers which could communicate with one another. That was right in the first chapter, right in the beginning. In the first class we heard that internet helped computers communicate. Now IoT helps products communicate. Not computers, products. Means you have a washing machine, it communicates, it takes your feedback and it gives the feedback to the manufacturer, it gives the feedback to Amazon, it gives the feedback to the repair agent. So IoT helps products communicate. It is the product which is communicating. It is a humanless operation. So the product tells that, okay, I have run out of detergent, so please supply me some detergent. The product says that, okay, I require servicing, so it talks to the servicing agency. The product says that, okay, I want the full load in the machine, so it talks to you. It says that you are just putting half load and it's not efficient. So the products communicate with you, the consumer, with the designer, and broadly speaking, IoT allows you to start, stop, monitor, control, operate all smart and connected products, both industrial as well as domestic. So you can use your phone to connect to your geyser, thermostat in your washroom. You can do it even if you are not in your house and you are driving, but you want hot water in the geyser when you reach home. So you can do it through IoT. You can use the doorbell and camera and find out if somebody is trying an unauthorized entry into your home. So you can watch and monitor your house. And the Apple Watch helps you to understand your sleep patterns also, your activity levels, your health, and it directly interacts with your doctors. So this is amazing. You have to just know IoT, because IoT is the miracle of 2020, which is changing our lives as fast as you can think. There are electric lights against the smart lights. You see the difference. One is a consumer product, the electric light, the electric bulb is a consumer product. The smart light is a service. The smart light tells you how to change its coloration with your mood. So it is a service, it's no longer a product. And it responds to your voice command, it responds to your mood, it responds to your need, and it responds to your biological clock also. You see, if it knows that you sleep late, it will be on till you sleep. It finds out your biological clock and it switches off. Similarly, if you are an early sleeper, it takes your inputs and it helps you over there also. So these are things, each light can be programmed differently and it can be automated. So all these sell and forget items which were once products have become serviceable with the user feedback. This process of things responding automatically to user needs is achieved through the Internet of Things.
A modern smartphone today has about 10 sensors. One of them is shown here, camera. That's vision sensing. Digital cameras were nowhere in the year 2000 They crossed the 1 billion units a year mark in 2013. Most of those were in phones. Now, you may think of a camera as a manual data capture device, but increasingly it's becoming automated. Everybody's familiar with facial recognition. We're moving into a world beyond facial recognition of object recognition as well. That's one of the sensors in your phone. Here's another one, location. Your phone knows where it is, even if you don't. GPS is actually, at least in the public sphere, a more recent technology even than digital photography. Yet it's proliferated incredibly quickly. It's hard to imagine how we lived without it today. And again, 2013, 1 billion units a year. That's sensor technology. Other sensors in your phone include altitude, barometric pressure, temperature, fingerprint, obviously microphone, sometimes heartbeat, motion. About 10 sensors, that's twice as many as we have, and about 8 more sensors than your laptop computer. So what can you do with the Internet of Things? Here's one example. When you read about Uber or Lyft or Day or any of these ride-sharing services in the newspapers, it tends to be all about labor practices and people driving their own car and not being employees and so on. But there's another really interesting thing about Uber. As an example, it's an Internet of Things service.
So what happens is the product becomes a service through the Internet of Things. These dozens of electric lights in your homes were always there. But this was not initially smart. Now with the LCD, it can become variable, it can become multicolored. On your voice command and on your mood and on your work area, it can change according to your sleeping routines. Software with inputs from multiple experts like sleep apnea, mental health specialists, educators, music companies, sex therapists, and so forth. There are hundreds of applications. They all interact, and there is an input from the designers and hardware companies and the cloud computers. They all process the feedback of the occupants of the room, and they provide you the solutions. These are services. It recognizes that your study has different requirement than your bedroom or your living room or your bathroom. In each of these areas, the lights are programmed differently. Your bathroom light could be equipped with sensors to switch on and off as you enter and exit, so that you will not have to grope for the light switch at night. Whenever you enter, the technology is there. It just switches on the light. And these were once sell and forget products. It had limited shelf life, but now no longer. These are services. These are no longer products. This helps you completely change your lifestyle. And this is how things are. As things become smart, they become responsive and interactive. They are digitally connected through the consumer, through the voice or data, or both at times. They are digitally connected to sensors and databases, and they are also connected to temperature, pressure measurement devices, alarm, safety, switch on and switch off. They are digitally connected to their makers and their designers. They are connected to the web and to the cloud from any third-party user who can take input. Besides, they interact with other connected systems like logistics or supply chain environment. So just by becoming smart and IoT connected, you are improving your capability. Now look at this video.
First, wearable devices for soldiers. Devices like biosensors and smart helmets track health metrics and improve situational awareness, while exoskeletons enhance physical strength and endurance. Second, autonomous systems. Drones and unmanned ground vehicles carry out surveillance, reconnaissance, and combat missions without endangering soldiers on the front line. Smart bases are the next. Military installations are becoming more efficient and secure with IoT-connected sensors for resource management and biometric systems for safe access.
As things turn into smart products, they are quickly becoming lifelong services. So the products are becoming lifelong services, and they are digitally connected to their makers. Who are the makers? The manufacturers. So these people use the constant stream of user data to make the product think, perform, and communicate better. It communicates with the user. It communicates with the manufacturer. It communicates with the designer. Who communicates? The product communicates. And for example, what happens? A logistics company, it monitors the shipment. So what does it monitor? It monitors how the goods go, and with that it also monitors the shipping lines, where is the cheapest fare available. It monitors the weather conditions. It monitors the time taken. So all these things go into huge server banks, into huge computers, and they are processed to give optimum solutions. And this capability can be had only by using IoT products. IoT increases the capability of all products and converts them into services which we need. IoT has millions of applications in retail, in industry, and in military. Yes, even in war, IoT is very much needed. IoT solutions like RFID tags and GPS sensors are used by retailers, and IoT solutions like interactive learning, 3D image, and complex formula explanation in physics. You see, the sections you see in biology, or how the chemical reaction takes place, all this in the digital screens which you see, these are all IoT happening, and this is very much necessary whether you learn bioscience or physics or chemistry. Whatever you learn today is assisted by IoT. Then there are IoT solutions in the industry. Almost all industries, not only automobile industry, which was one of the early movers into IoT, but not only the automobile industry, but almost every industry uses IoT. The construction industry uses IoT today, and there are solutions in medical science which again use IoT. There is so many applications of IoT in medical science, right from X-ray machines to the handling of ICU rooms. You know that whether the ICU is vacant or whether it is available, what is the pressure on the ICU, how many ICUs there should be in a hospital, and what is the intermittent load on ICUs or on any other critical facility, operation theatre or something like that. All this is conducted by IoT. Then we have IoT solutions in warfare. We have IoT solutions in military applications, hundreds of IoT solutions, and without that the modern fighter jet would not exist without IoT. Then there are IoT solutions in geotechnical and in underwater explorations. Now I will tell you what is this. The earth tremors which you see before earthquake. So all these things are being continuously fed, and the sensations beneath the earth are being recorded, and they are going to data servers, and they are compiling the information that when the tremor will begin. So when the earthquake will begin at a particular place, we have predictions. When a volcano will erupt, we have predictions nowadays. It is no longer that these things catch us by surprise. When a typhoon happens, we have predictions. So all this weather data, all this information gets connected through IoT devices, and they come to us. So these are things which are happening, and each of these areas, they bring together a lot of resources, and if you want to change your career, you can go and you can find all these areas where people are getting employed. You don't have to necessarily search for a government job in your colony. You have to just go out and find how the world is moving and explore yourself and learn and try to be a global citizen. Now there are simplified expressions of complex formulas today. We during our school days never had that facility, but now you have. They will show you different sections, they will rotate the sections, and they will show you how the integration takes place, they will show you how the chemical changes takes place. All this happens digitally on the screen, and you can see these in a classroom. And classroom study has actually become fun and interactive. There are millions of areas in a classroom, and we will show it to you in a video shortly, that how the classroom has expanded and how it has become totally interactive, and how education today, edutech, which edutech has made it so much simple for us to learn about STEM education, about science, technology, engineering, medicine, and all these education lines have opened up just because of IoT, just because they are connected to the classrooms and they are helping us to learn. So basic thing is it evolves and it shows you how simple the things are actually today, just because of these background players which we are calling them IoT, and it has millions of retail, millions of industrial, and millions of educational and military applications. The number of IoT devices is estimated to have crossed 10 billion in the year 2020, with revenues exceeding $180 billion. This includes dedicated functional devices like cooking range or a jet engine, your bathroom showers, your vending machines, your fitness bands, your music systems, automobiles, and much more. Now listen to this video about edutech, how it is transforming. Now, the things we talk about is the small devices called microprocessors. Now, these are the game-changing devices of today. Everywhere people are talking about microprocessors, semiconductors, faster and faster data processing ability, and we know Jensen Huang has become a household name just because his company NVIDIA has produced the fastest data processor in the world. So this is how these tech giants have become billion-dollar, trillion-dollar companies with no time. And these people are basically helping the semiconductor industry grow and process data very, very fast. So this is the data world. Today we are living in the data world. There is nothing which works without data, and data is the most important thing in today's world. When we were young, there was nothing called data. Nobody knew what data was, and the computers had just started then, and over our lifetime we have seen that data has become all important, and we are only talking about processing data faster and faster. Now these data, as we learned in this chapter, could be visual data from sensors, cameras, and with multiple functions. It could be audio data, and it could be used for diagnosis of various things. Audio data, you could hear and you could take action based on this audio data. Temperature data, you could sense the condition of the product and see if the machinery is working or see if there is a problem. You could see if the water is hot enough for you to take bath or if it is not. Then there is the smell or the odor data, which can be used for changing and for checking the condition of a grocery or a vegetable or meat or milk. The motion data, which can tap speed and acceleration and give relative changes. All these things we have gone through in this chapter, and all these things you must understand that are very important to your buying patterns of tomorrow. Tomorrow when you go and buy something, you will think, oh, this is what I learnt, and this is how I relate to it, and this is the decision which I take. Now after knowing this, and after doing the technology for all classes, you will find that you are becoming an evolved customer. When you go to a store, you ask very, very significant questions which the store manager does not know. They will say that, okay, let me check. They will look up the catalogs and they will give you importance, because they will know that here is a customer who is knowing my product even better than I am. So if you want to earn respect in your family, in your social circle, in the shops which you visit, then you must understand technology, and you must understand that all things are fitted with microprocessors, tiny electronic components which are programmed to perform all instructions and tasks, and they are making these devices work. These devices also need to have their own IP addresses. IP address, the same internet protocol address which you must have in your internet, the same IP address each of these small components have, and they are connected to the internet. and they must further have sensors for measuring all these things which we talked about, the smell, the speed, the temperature, and all these things are measured, and then they are loaded to the data servers and they go to the designer and the manufacturer, and that is how the entire ecosystem is set up, and it becomes a product. From the product it becomes a service. So this is how it happens, and this is what we will talk about in the next class. We will find that we will tell you how this transformation happens and how this transformation happens so quickly and what it has implications. What is this data doing? How was this data stolen and how did this data come about? We will talk about all this in the next classes. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.